The Matrix, waters above crypto. I hope you all had a beautiful weekend. I'm sending you all love and high vibrations. Today is Labor Day in the United States, which gives the lizards over at the New York Stock Exchange an extra day off. So this, of course, allows an extra day for FOMO into the crypto market. And being today is the new moon and the day before Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year, start of Shmita, it's all adding up as to why we're getting this price action. So today I have lots of numbers to share with you. I'll be sharing a Gematria decode for a majority of this week. And of course, we'll dive into the charts of Bitcoin and XRP to follow up on our recent weekly close. Also, yesterday I uploaded my weekly Red Pill episode, which is my technical analysis podcast, covering the charts of Ethereum, Icon, Veracity, The Graph, Polkadot, Elrond, VeChain, and a couple others. If you'd like to get access to those weekly podcasts, you can join my Mastermind community membership on Patreon at patreon.com/watersabove. The link is also in the description. And you'll also get access to our Discord group chat, which now has over 1,000 members. It's amazing how fast we've grown. So for anyone who's joined the Wolf Pack, I appreciate every single one of you. Much love. The private Discord is also where I'm active most of the week, giving updates and also letting members know whenever I'm buying or selling. Lately, I've been de-risking my portfolio from any 8 or 10x plays that I've had. Anything over a 10x, I clear out my initial investment to keep 90% of my position in play. This gives me some fiat on the sidelines to reinvest whenever we get a correction. And that's how I've been maintaining my portfolio for the past couple of years, and it's been keeping me calm during all the volatility, chaos, and it's kept me protected from all the nonsense that gets spread around social media for crypto. And we all know, and we could all say from experience, there's 99 psyops and one truth that resonates with you, and only you can decide what vibrationally aligns with your path. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe, turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out, and make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious people to help grow this community. And for those of you that want to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, you can join my Mastermind course. My email is in the description box to get in contact with me for access to the course. And with that being said, let's take the red pill. So we're going to just do some decoding really quickly. And we're going to start with yesterday. So yesterday being the 5th of September, we're going to add up the date really quickly and show you what we're getting. So we get the 9 plus 5 plus 20 plus 21, and that gives us the 55, and that 55 comes back to Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto being the creator or the architect of blockchain and cryptocurrency technology. So who is Satoshi? Satoshi is Saturn, and Saturn is Father Time, or the ruler of Earth. And with this, we can utilize all of this information to continue our decoding whenever we decode any cryptocurrencies. So we're getting this 55 connection, and another thing we're getting with yesterday's date was the 9/5/2021, giving us the 19, and this 19 comes back to Ra, Ra being the sun god, and yesterday was, of course, Sun Day, the day of the sun, and it's all tied together. Now let's move on to today. So today being the 9/6/2021, we could add up the dates, and that naturally gives us the 56. Okay, so with this 56, you're getting a lot of connections that we've gotten recently, and as such, we get this SOJ with the 56, and then we also get another classic psyop with the 56, and we could keep going, but more importantly, the date written internationally for today would be 6/9, the 6th day of the 9th month, and this gives us the 69, and that 69 comes back to Saturn. Okay, so with Saturn, we're getting that 69, and that's a very powerful number. We could also expound upon it in later videos, but more importantly, we have that 69. And also coming back to that 56, you have today being the 9 plus 6 plus 20 plus 21, of course, giving you that 56, and BTC gives you that 56. So this is also the start of the 36th week of the year. the 36 connection that we get back to Bitcoin. So you're going to see most of this decode, and most of what's going on this week in particular is tied to Bitcoin through this 36 connection and the Saturn connection. And there's lots of connections to Saturn with this. And of course, anything that starts with SAT comes back to Saturn, like Saturday being the day of Saturn. So Satoshi is Saturn. And with that being said, we also have a couple more connections. So Saturn and this number 9. So with BTC, we have this 9 in Chaldean, of course, BTC being the ticker symbol. So we have that 56 connection for today's date numerology. And then we also have this 9. And of course, in our Gregorian scam calendar, this month, September, is the 9th month, even though that doesn't really make much sense because sept or septa means 7. But anyways, that's a different lesson. But more importantly here, the 9th month in the Gregorian calendar is September, and of course BTC has that 9, and that's why during the last bull run, when Bitcoin started that big pullback in September, it brought down everything else with it. It's a very powerful. It comes back to Saturn. It is the ruler of Earth, or the king of the show. It is Ra. It is the sun, and that's the energy source. So it's really esoteric. But for any of you that have been sticking around my work for a while, you know most of this stuff already, so let's keep going. Now, tomorrow's date numerology being the 9/7/2021, and of course, this is Rosh Hashanah. So Rosh Hashanah is the Hebrew New Year. It is a 3-day span, which starts today on the new moon, and then it goes until the 8th of September. So we're going to just do a whole Shmita rundown, as you can see we're doing. So with the 9/7/2021, we get that 21. And of course, that 21 also comes back to Saturn with that 21. It's amazing how this all ties together. Another thing this ties back to is the Jesuits. So we have that 21 right there. And of course, we have the 42 in this as well. And that 42 connection should come up later. So we have a huge connection here, but this is what's really mind-blowing. So let me just show you this real quick. Of course, today, or the 9 plus 7 plus 20 plus 21 will give us the 57, right? And where this is really critical is because it comes back to Rosh Hashanah. Okay, Rosh Hashanah is tomorrow, the 7th day of the month, and we get that 57 connection. That's absolutely mind-blowing. Another connection to that 57, like earlier, we get the Society of Jesus. And why this is so important with that 57 connection in Chaldean is because of this, the 79, which is the date numerology written internationally. 7-9 would be the 7th day of September, which is Rosh Hashanah. Again, the start of Shmita. So absolutely mind-blowing how this date in particular all adds up. And then remember that 79, and this is another little side note. We have Hebrew calendar with that 79, and of course we have that 65 reversed, as above so below. We get that 56 coming back to today. This is all part of that transition through the new year, and it's amazing how this works by the code. So tomorrow we have the 7-9 date numerology. Of course, Hebrew calendar equals 79, which is what we are utilizing to be able to dive deeper into what's happening in this market. Again, also you get that 11-9, the 119, or the reverse 9/11. Wow, classic ritual. Remember when they tried telling us that they found the passports? They got a bunch of guys with box cutters, and then they... Anyways... It's an insane psyop that worked out really well. So another thing with this 57 and 79 or 97 connection would be a very important thing to plug in here, which would be creator or destroyer, like Shiva. Shiva being the creator and the destroyer. But why this is so important is because we're getting that 57 connection, which again comes back to Rosh Hashanah, and also we are getting that 79. That's amazing that we're getting that connection in that as well. Also, that 223 is pretty powerful, but we'll talk about that another time. So more importantly, the creator, destroyer, the one who builds it up, the one who breaks it down. That is what the Jesuit order, the Catholics through the Vatican, Switzerland through their money laundering scheme, the City of London through the Rothschilds and their bloodline elite families that they've perpetuated throughout on their globalist agenda. Then we have Washington, D.C. and the New York Stock Exchange, which is also running this show as helpers for the NWO. So Very quick rundown. Also, we have this 9/8/2021, and that gives us that 22. And that 22 is a very powerful number because it comes back to reset with that 22. And of course, there's more to go here. The 22 is a master number. But why I'm so interested in this 9/8/2021, how it equals 22, this is the last day of Rosh Hashanah. Okay, so again, 9/8/2021 equals the 22. It is the last day of Rosh Hashanah. And this is the transition into the Hebrew year of 5782, which is the 22. So this is amazing how this is all tying together. So the year that we are going into starting tomorrow in the Hebrew calendar would be the year 5782, which gives us the 22. And of course, on the last day of Rosh Hashanah, you're getting that 22. This all ties back to the reset with the 22. And we could keep going. Again, that 19 number coming back to Ra, the sun, like we have the solar flares, which again, that's another story. So I am really fascinated with this week. I think this week is going to be absolutely incredible, regardless of which direction the market goes, just because of the energetic side of it and the code. 22 giving us that 42, and that 42, so we have the 22 written out coming back to the 42, and this is all tying back to Saturn with the 42 and the Jesuits with the 42, and again Satoshi Nakamoto with that 181 in the English ordinal cipher coming back to the 42nd prime. 42 is an extremely powerful number, and we're getting that across the board. Also, another thing with Satoshi Nakamoto, you're getting that 89, which again comes back to the last day of Rosh Hashanah, writing this date out internationally as the 8th day of the 9th month, 8/9, and that is coming back to Satoshi Nakamoto as well. And then remember, this all works mirrored, flipped, reversed, as above, so below. So 89 could also be 98, and we're getting that with Satoshi. We're getting that 98. Also, we're getting that 24 flipped, giving us the 42. Also, we're getting that 91 flipped, giving us that 19, coming back to Ra, or the god of the sun god. Amazing. So one other last note, couple final notes. We have the Great Depression giving us that 98, again, 98 reversed, giving us September 8th. And then we have that 72 connection coming back to Bitcoin with 72. And this is where it's going to get really interesting. We have the next day, which would be the 9/9 date. September 9th. And September 9th being the 9/9/2021 gives us the 23. And this 23 comes back to Bitcoin and the Chaldean cipher, the most pure cipher. And again, that 99 is really important because this 99 comes back to Jupiter with the 99. And Jupiter is the second powerhouse in this financial sector. We have Saturn, we have Jupiter, and we have Venus, and they are being controlled by the sun and the moon, or by Isis and Ra, if you wanted to call it that, or Osiris. But it's really deep, and we could keep going. And of course, we have the Sumerian story, we have the Egyptian story, we have the Babylonian story. It's fractaled out, so it's really hard to break this all down in a quick video. I'm trying my best. But with this 99 connection of September 9th coming back to Jupiter, and we see some clear connections here between Jupiter and Bitcoin, where we have that 36 and the 45, like Bitcoin has 36 and 45, and then we have this 72, again flipped, as above so below, coming back to the 27. So it's amazing how this is all tying in. We are in the eye of Jupiter. We are in Saturn's hexagon, or Saturn's storm. It's amazing to see how this all comes into play by the code. And of course, Jupiter giving us that 36 as we are in the 36th week of the year, which has Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year. So let's move on. Well, we hit our upside price targets of 51K, and we've also seen a little jump up to 52K on Bitcoin. Again, I've given price targets to the upside, and I believe that what's been interesting, and in my reception to everyone with the emails and with the comments, is it's all about patience. And I think more people are looking for exact dates and exact prices, and it's really interesting to me how when prices go up, people will continue to also get frustrated, and I am blown away by such a thing. So again, that's why I started this video with a brief synopsis of my investment thesis, where anytime I get an 8 or 10x in this market, I just decide to de-risk. And what that de-risking is getting my initial investment back. And what a lot of people do is they gamble on trying to time tops or get perfect price points, and what that does to them is they remove all their money from the market, and when it goes up by 5%, they start losing their minds. So it's very important that people have lived through cycles. I myself have lived through 4 separate times watching these altcoins lose 80% of their value. So I've lived it already. When I started my mastermind course, Bitcoin was literally $10,000. I watched it go to 50, 60, and then pull all the way back to 29. Just in the time of me making a course. That's incredible. And I've been in this market before I even did that with private clients. So it's really fascinating to see how this all works from a psychological perspective, and why whenever there's lots of greed in the market, the most sophisticated investors need to become fearful or need to flip bearish. And if the market continues to go up, you just continue to de-risk as necessary. It's very important that people learn these lessons. It's all ultimately a lesson. But if we go back all the way to July, and we hear about what I was predicting for the month of August, it wasn't really a prediction. It was me basically just saying, expect a relief rally through August into the very early, maybe first week of September. Anticipate Bitcoin to hit a minimum of 50K. And then if it gets over 50K, at least 52K. And the reason for that 52 coming back to 25 in BTC. Again, as above, so below, flipped. So we've hit that price target of 52. Now we could keep going, and that's totally fine, because if you were a smart investor, you would have only de-risked. You wouldn't have just taken all your profits out at 50K. That's an idiot move. People who are selling everything in a bull run before the bull run ends, and also people going short the market on leverage during a bull run, those two things are a recipe for a disaster for somebody who doesn't really understand the charts. If you don't actually know how to take what the market gives you, you will forever be making mistakes. So let's just take this for what it is and continue through our thesis of a potential pullback in this month. And the whole idea behind a potential pullback was measuring these 56 to 58 day bottoms in the Bitcoin chart. And we've done this time and time again, where I could shut off all these indicators and I could show you how this works. So anytime we've gotten major pullbacks in the market and we measure over 58 days or so, we're seeing that we're getting around pullbacks. And this was working really amazingly back here in the cycle. Let's just have some fun with it. So we have this little dip that came around Thanksgiving in the United States, and we see 57 days. It brought us to that pullback right there. Now let's take this pullback and go over 58 days and see what the market gives us. So you can see right here, it brought us on the 57th day to this pullback right here. Now let's go from this pullback and try it again. Okay, and you could see right around here, 58 days, that was a massive correction. If you would have just bought in at that level, thinking that you bought a good dip and it went up and went down, I mean, that's an even crazier buying opportunity. So then we could keep going. Let's go from this dip right here. Measure over 58 days, and where does that bring us? The absolute low that we've gotten in our microcycle structure. Now, let's just take another dip. Right there. So we measure from that dip over to this dip, and that was the August pullback. Brilliant. So we could keep doing this over and over again. Let's take the lowest price we got in June around the full moon, go over 58 days. And right there on the 58th day, we get the low that we got in that little microcycle. So let's go to the absolute low that we got on July 20th. And we're going to see where this brings us. Around 56 days would be September 14th. 58 days would be September 16th. So between the 14th and the 16th, we could almost anticipate some sort of correction. And again, it doesn't have to be a new low. It doesn't have to necessarily break the uptrend. It might only go to 46,000, but we have to be willing to get in when it's necessary to get in, and we have to use this data in the chart to be able to be patient and wait for these pullbacks. So What we're seeing today is obvious FOMO in the market because the stock exchange is closed, the dollar index is green. This is not a setup for bullish price action. I mean, the Dow Jones is slightly up, but there's no volume in this market right now. So it's really interesting that we're getting this sort of price action and this kind of doji structure that we're getting. I would not be surprised if we had a doji to end the day, especially a red doji and then some sort of a reversal pattern. But again, I'm not here to be giving out predictions necessarily. I am an analyst and I share what I'm seeing in the charts. And right now, this all looks exhausted. This all looks like the last final gasp of air before a correction. And again, if it wants to keep going up, amazing. We're making money. That's all that matters. So let's look at some of the things that we've gotten over on our weekly close. And our weekly close, we're just going to pull up the moving averages and we're going to see what's going on here. This is one of the best setups that we've seen on the weekly chart in a long time, where we have the 8 symbol moving average above the 13, 21, 34, 55, and the 200s are in perfect posture. This weekly chart looks impeccable. So what we're seeing right here is a very bullish market and also a very good chart. Now, when you have those two things combined, this is where fake out shakeouts come into play. So it's really, really important that people stay on their toes. They don't get overly greedy at this time, but also don't do something stupid. Don't go 100x short leverage on some random altcoin. That's insane. So what's important here is what we're seeing is our new weekly open. It's just started. It's a Monday. That is a holiday. The institutions are pretty much chilling out today. They're experiencing a 3-day weekend. When the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the traditional stock market opens tomorrow morning, that's when the real show begins. And again, that's on Rosh Hashanah, the start of Shmita. So just be patient. We're like less than 24 hours away to seeing where this goes. Could go up, could go down. That's the thing that's beautiful about a market. When you're a technical analyst that's been doing this for a while, you know 3 things will happen. The market will go up, it will go down, or it will go sideways. Now, what you need to do is manage your risk so that wherever it goes, you're just in a good position and you're ready for all scenarios. That's some serious words of wisdom. So with this setup, it's showing me that around this mid 40,000 range is a very tight support level. With this 21 sitting around 43,700, we might not go lower than 43. We might just stick around that mid 40K level on any pullback. So please be open-minded to that. Now, when it comes to the 3-day, we have a closure tonight. We can see that this 3-day chart is starting to look really good because this 21 exponential is looking to cross the 55, and then eventually that 34 exponential will cross the 55, and that would put us in a perfect structure where the 8 is above the 13, above the 21, 34, 55, and the 200s at the bottom sloping upwards. That's a brilliant setup, really nice to see. Let's go to the daily chart. And with the daily chart, we're starting to see all of our exponentials crossed above that 200 simple. And here's one little note that might be very important to kind of like a crystal ball. From a technical analysis perspective, you see this 200 simple moving average is around 46,000. And let's go to the monthly chart. And we can see that our 8 simple moving average is around that 46, 47,000 level as well. So if this was to pull back at all, these moving averages will clearly start to slope sideways or less aggressively to the upside. And that would also put us around 46,000. So I'm really intrigued to this idea that we might see Bitcoin, if it does want to pull back, come to the 21 exponential, which is sitting around 44, but only for like a single day, and then pop back up and still finish the month above this 200 simple moving average. I'm really interested in that play. It's something I'm going to do a deeper technical analysis I'll dive into it deeper as the week progresses and as the month progresses, because what I just said right there was something that still has like 22 days to play out. So it's just me like sort of looking into the future as somebody who's been working on charts 14 to 16 hours every single day for years. And this is really where like my calmness sets in this market, because I've just seen these pullbacks come, and I've seen these fake out shakeouts come many times. So now where we're at with this, we know that tonight is a new moon. We know that Bitcoin has hit a 52K level. It looks to be exhausted. It's definitely showing signs of where do I go next, or confusion. And at the same time, we have greed on the fear and greed index, probably approaching extreme greed at this time. So it's important that we just chill out, let this all play itself out. So in regards to immediate downside targets, I would be looking for anywhere around the 0.5 fib level, which is sitting around the 46,800. Again, this is short term. And if we get any upside movement, it would be around this 702 fib, which I would just say anywhere around 53,000 to 54,000. And still, yeah, that would still be more likely not gonna happen. 54,000 is less likely at this time, unless for some reason all the previous patterns that we've seen in previous bull runs come to an end. And that would be great. I would also be really happy if that happened. But more than likely, tomorrow we're gonna start to see some volatility kick in. And whether that goes up or down, we just have to be ready for it. So let's move on to the XRP chart. Oof. Okay, so with XRP, we've almost made it up to the 618, but look at the level we hit, exactly $1.40. So this has completed my price target for XRP for the rally. I've mentioned before, anything between $1.30 and $1.40 would be a beautiful price range to see XRP hit before a bigger correction, and we've hit that today, so that's really nice. Again, where we get that 14 is with XRP, with that reverseful reduction on that 14, and we hit the $1.40 on this day. It's brilliant. So now we just have to see how it reacts. Again, we've seen this structure before, so let me just quickly show you where this structure has shown up. And it's really hard to identify, but when you've looked at the XRP chart enough times, you can see it. So let me turn off everything and I'm going to show you what this looks like. So this move right here, this quick bullish reaction on April 26th, all the way through right here on May 18th, this sort of looks like a similar structure where we have a pump, a rejection, and then a little bit of like jagged action before we see one last little breath of air to the upside, followed by a correction. Now, I'm not saying that tomorrow we're going to see a huge red candle like this. I'm talking about the structure between this day right here of April 26th and this day right here of May 18th. That is all I am talking about. And that's sort of what we're getting here, where we have a big pump up really quickly, lots of jagged price action. And during this time, we were even seeing Bitcoin break out while XRP was sideways, Ethereum was sideways, and now you're finally seeing this move up to a completion of the price target. And again, the price target wasn't based off an opinion, it was based off of looking at the 618, which is the golden pocket, and also looking at the Gematria, giving us the 14. Not my opinion, it's in the code. So what we're seeing right now is definitely a nice little bullish pump, but the RSI is alarming. We have our highs coming in on the 15th, and we're not even close today, while the prices hit new highs. Bearish divergence, but the MAC, it's not a confirmed bearish divergence necessarily, so that's okay. But the point here is that we are seeing a little bit of a bullish cross on the MACD, but we can't get our hopes up because we've seen this happen before, like right here where we get a couple days green in the MACD and then it just completely tanks. So sometimes it's hard with these altcoins where you're using these indicators. You really have to go off of price targets, price action, and the sentiment of the space. If everyone is bullish, it's probably time to flip and be a little more cautious. So what I believe we will be seeing over the maybe next couple weeks is a pullback for Bitcoin around the 16th of September. As for the pullback range, it could be as high as 46,000 or as low as 40,000, most likely around that 21 weekly moving average, which is the $43,000 level at this time. I'm looking for those levels for sure. If we get them, I will be absolutely buying. If we don't get them, oh well, it is what it is. We just have to maintain our patience in this market. And then any upside targets for Bitcoin, again, I mentioned that 702 fib, and for XRP, we are looking at any upside targets around the 702 fib as well, which would be around $1.50. Natural downside targets would be the 382 fib, around $1.06. And this is the immediate short term. We could go lower, but there's plenty of time between today and September 16th, and I will definitely be making videos in between now and then. So enjoy the rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.